right. Hey everybody, this is Mr. Han, and here are our notes for volume of Prism. So this is going to be the first set of notes for volume, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about volume first and then talk about how to find the volume of a prism. So here are notes, is called volume of prisms. The first thing we need to do is find the volume, or define the volume of, define the word volume. So here, volume means, okay, so volume is asking for the amount of space inside a three-dimensional object, okay, or we could also say the number of cubic units inside of a shape. I'm going to use more general vocabulary to help you understand. So here, volume means the amount of space inside of a three-dimensional object. The amount of space inside a 3D object or shape. Okay, so area and volume are very similar. Area asks for how much is inside a two-dimensional object or shape. Okay, volume is going to be the space inside of a three-dimensional object. So if you've ever had a jewelry box or a card box or a shoe box or anything like that, that's kind of what we're talking about. How much space is inside that shape? You could also think of drinks, right? Like your milk carton in your fridge maybe, or orange juice, or maybe some soda inside a can. How much space is it inside of that? So volume is asking for the amount of space inside a three-dimensional object. Now, volume is always going to be measured, okay? It's always going to be measured in units cubed. Okay, so not units squared like it is for area. Okay, volume is going to be in units cubed to the third power. And think of three-dimensional objects, 3D objects, as cubed. Okay, so that's the definition of volume. Now we're going to look at what is a prism. Because today we're only talking about finding the volume of prisms. Now, a prism, I'm going to go ahead and highlight that word in purple. Okay, the word prism is a word we're going to use for a shape, okay, that has two bases, okay, that are congruent. So I'm going to grab a couple of objects that are right next to me and ask if the bases of the shape is congruent. Now, congruent is a word we use for same shape and same size. Okay, so here, let me grab, I just bought these headphones. Okay, now imagine that this, I can take this off. Nope, can't. Imagine that this part's not here, okay? So this shape right here, are the bases congruent? Okay, so let's pretend like the shape is like this. And the base is here. And if this is one of the bases, we're going to look at the top. So are these two bases congruent? Are they the same shape and same size? So right here, this rectangle, is it the same as the top? And the answer here is yes. Okay, so this has two bases that are congruent. We'll grab this. If you don't know what this is a PlayStation 4 controller. I'm going to put it on my hand. And I'm wondering, is the base congruent? Is the top part of this PlayStation controller the same as the bottom section of this PlayStation controller? Right? So are these two sides congruent? No. Okay? It sticks out. They're not the same shape, same size. I can't put something on top and then have that same thing on the bottom. They're not congruent. Okay? My favorite. Cereal boxes, are they congruent? Okay, so if the base is up here and down here, are those two shapes congruent? The answer is yes, right? We can say that this shape right here is the same as this. Now, if we have two bases that are congruent or the same, we can find the volume. To find the volume, we need to find the area of one of these bases, okay, either the top or the bottom, and then multiply by how tall it is. That's going to tell us how much space is in here. Okay, so we have a couple of examples. Okay, example number 1. Oh, sorry. To find the volume. Okay, to find the volume, we're going to say the volume of a prism, okay, is going to be the area of a base, times the height. Okay. Now you can also write this like this: capital B times H. Capital B is another way of saying the area of the base. Okay, so notice that it is a capital, and it's a capital for a reason. Okay, a capital B is telling us the area of the base. So it's not just base times height when we find the area of a rectangle. No, this is the area of the base times the height. So here we have a couple of examples. We have 4 examples in total. Okay, the first 2 are going to be rectangular prisms, meaning that the bases are in the shape of a rectangle, and the second 2 examples are triangular prisms, meaning that the bases are triangles. So let's look at this first one and find the area of the base. Now we have to count because this is units. So I'm going to go ahead and count the bottom. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down here. Okay, so 6 right here. And the other side has 1, 2, 3. So if I want to find the area of this base, I'm going to multiply 6 times 3 and multiply by the height of the entire thing. Okay, and how do I find the height? I'm going to go over to the side, look over here, and count 1, 2, 3. So that's the height. So the area of the base is going to be 6 times 3. Actually, I'll do this in blue. The parts that are not part of the equation. Sorry about that. Okay. So the area of the base times the height of the entire shape is 3. Okay, no more color changing. I'm going to stick with blue from here, but hopefully you see where the numbers come from. 6 times 3 is going to be the base, and that's going to be 18 times 3. The area of the base is 6 times 3, 18, times the height of the entire shape, 3. So 18 times 3, if you plug it into a calculator, is going to be 54 units. Oh, 54 units. 54. 8 times 3, 18 times 3 is 54 units. And who can remember how we measure volume? Volume is always in units cubed. So a little bit different than area, but that's how we find the volume. We find the area of the base and multiply it by the height. Okay, next one. Let's take a look. So we need to do the same exact thing. Let's start with red, pink, then blue. So red, we're going to find the area of this rectangular prism. So we need to find the base of this rectangle. And technically, right, I'm going to help you guys out. Let's use green. Okay, so this is a 3-dimensional shape. Kind of looks like that. Okay, and we need to find the area of this base down here. So to find that area, it's going to be 3 times 5, and that's the area of the base, and that's going to be 15, right? Times the height. So I'm going to find the height of the entire shape. This kind of reminds me of my cereal box because it is taller, right? So 8 times 8. We'll go ahead and plug this into my calculator. Well, 3 times 5 I know is 15, right? 15 times 8. We'll plug that into my calculator, and guess what I get? 120 inches cubed. So I found the area of the base, 3 times 5, and multiplied it by the height of the entire three-dimensional object. Okay. If there are 3 numbers given for a rectangular prism, most likely, okay, not always, but most likely you're going to be multiplying those numbers to find the volume. Make sure you are thinking though. Find the area of the base and multiply by the height. All right, now triangle. We need to find the area of the these next two examples are triangular prisms. We need to find the area of the triangle here. So here, let's find the area of this triangle. Now I'm going to just shade in this triangle. I'm going to create a triangle right here. And we need to find the area of this triangle times the height of the entire shape, which is going to be right here. Now, this 10 is the hypotenuse of the triangle, and it's not needed in terms of finding the volume of the shape. So first I'm going to find the area of a triangle. If you don't remember how to find the area of a triangle, okay, that is going to be the base times the height divided by 2. Or you could say 1/2 times the base times the height. Notice that I have a lowercase b here because it's not the base of the area of the base. So let's find the area of this triangle. Okay, so what's the height of the triangle? 8. And what's the base of the triangle? So 6 times 8 divided by 2. That's the area of the triangle. So I'm going to put that in parentheses. And I need to multiply that by 7.5. So if you got confused by where I got these numbers, this area, I'm going to actually draw it again. Okay. The triangle is the base. I need to find the area of the base. Okay. So the area of the base is 6 times 8 divided by 2, 1/2 times base times height, or base times height divided by 2. So base is 6, height is 8. 6 times 8 divided by 2 times 7.5. 7.5 is the height of the entire three-dimensional object. Okay, so 6 times 8 is 48. Okay, divided by 2 times 7.5. And then 48 divided by 2 is 24. 24 times 7.5. And if I take 24 times 7.5, I get 180. 24 times 7.5 is 180. 180 what? Feet cubed. Okay, so here we found the area of the triangle and then multiplied it by the height. Let's do the same here. We need to find the area of the base, which is going to be the triangle. So here, okay, we need to find the area of this triangle. Now, what's the base of this triangle? So base times height divided by 2. That's the area of the triangle times the height of the entire shape. Wow, that could be a little confusing with 2 H's, okay? But we need to focus on the triangle first. So this triangle, what's the base of the triangle? 4. So 4 times, what's the height? Now, if you remember, I would stand and I would say, what's the height, right? It's from the very bottom to the very top. So here we need to look closely and see which height gives us the very bottom to the very top. Is it 6 or is it 7? Okay. Now, 6 gives us the height. 7 is a slanted height. So 4 times 6 divided by 2 times the height of this entire shape is going to be 12 centimeters. Okay. 6 times 4 divided by 2. I'm going to do 6 times 4. I get 24. divided by 2, okay, times 12. And then 24 divided by 2 is 12, so 12 times 12 is 144. I know 12 times 12 is 144. So this is 144, what are the units? Centimeters cubed. Okay. All right, that's it for the notes. You are finding the volume of these prisms. Okay, they might be a triangular, rectangular. Make sure you notice what the base is. Find the area of that base, multiply by the height of the entire shape. All right, best of luck. My favorite color is purple.